that there's something so special about you and me, babe. So just say the words, cause you know what it means to me, babe.
Welcome to the Babes in Sports podcast. My name is Jamie Hersch.
I'm Tory Roy. We're two friends navigating being mothers, wives, and successful women in the demanding, male-dominated world of sports. And with the football season finally in the rear view for a minute until the draft starts, it's nice to briefly take a breath for now, get back going with our pod. And we have an amazing guest for you today. James, what's going on in your sports world?
Well, in case anyone is wondering what I'm going to be doing for the next 10 days or the last 7 days, I am all in on the Olympics. I love the Olympics. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. I've always loved the Olympics. And especially now working in hockey and specifically working in Vegas hockey, there are a lot of Vegas representatives in the Olympics. So my husband actually, for those of you who are listening and unable to see this, I am rocking a full USA hat.
Pretty dope.
Hoodie. Shout out to Matt, my wonderful husband, who got me these because he knows that I got to be outfitted to watch my team go USA.
And for the pod.
Yes, and for the pod for sure. But no, it's like embarrassing how much of a fangirl I am. I hope maybe one day I could work somehow, some way in the Olympics. That's kind of like the bucket list, like career goal.
Everyone's bucket list, right? Yeah, when you work in sports, it's like the Olympic. It's like Super Bowl Olympics. Like they kind of go hand in hand.
And I have a lot of friends and colleagues who are over there right now, and so I'm dealing with the FOMO, but also to your point, really enjoying a slower season, right? And this weekend we're actually going to Zion National Park with the kids. We're going glamping. So that's for the next podcast. I'll let you know how that goes, the good, the bad, and the ugly of going glamping with a 6 and a 4-year-old. But it'll be really great quality.
I'm a little worried for you.
I know. I feel like I always go into this, you know, the Instagram versus reality thing.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I am the Instagram and my husband is the reality, where like he always is like, this is going to be tougher than you think. And I'm always like, this is going to be better than you think. So somewhere in between, I think, is the happy place.
Okay. Keep score and let's report back when we are on the pod next week. But hey, guys, like since we do have a little less on our backs in the sports world, we are so excited for today's guests. And we have a lineup of great women who are working in sports, who are mothers that are coming to talk to us and share their story. So we can't wait to get started. You know her from her work with CBS Sports. She's covered college football, the NFL, just to name a few. And you can find her on the only all-female sports talk show, We Need to Talk. And I'm saving the best for last. She is mama to her two beautiful girls, Maddie and Kenzie. Jenny Dell! It is so awesome to have you with us.
I'm so happy to be here. You guys inspire me, so I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh, likewise. Well, first and foremost, how are you feeling post-football season? I mean, are you even able to take a breather at any point?
No, it's been super crazy post-football season because I jump right into CBS Sports HQ and then I'm hosting We Need to Talk in New York every chance I get. So there's really no off season, but I wouldn't want it any other way. It is so nice to be home though and not having to travel. I like I said, I get to go to New York here and there, but the everyday grind of just like weekly travel is, I was so ready to be done with it. It's tough, especially now with the Big Ten. I live in South Florida. We had so many games on the West Coast. So it was like literally jumping across the country every week. And then you know how it is when you get home on Sunday mornings. It's not like you could just go take a nap after a red eye. The kids are like, Mommy! And it's go time. So it was a long season.
Is there any sort of routine for you now, especially with the girls and like the daily grind now that you're not doing that like weekly travel, or what is that routine like now?
It changes every week. That's the thing. And then once baseball season starts pitchers and catchers just reported. So my husband's about to be gone for the rest of baseball season. So it really changes weekly. The good part is when I'm in studio for CBS Sports HQ, I'm basically there when the kids are at school. So then I can just be a normal mom the rest of the time. So we just try to make it work so that, you know, we're present as much as we possibly can, but there's no routine at all. It is like fly by the seat of your pants, just type A, organized to schedule on the calendar, color coordinated to make sure that everyone's in the right place at the right time.
And you're gonna have to remind me, Jenny, what your husband does now. I know he played baseball professionally, but what he does now. But I can imagine if he's still in the MLB sphere that
Yeah.
there's quite a bit of overlap in even August, right? Like August and definitely September. How
September,
do you
October.
guys manage that?
We have a wonderful nanny who's lived with us, and I wanna be, like, completely honest because a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, "How is it even possible to do what you do?" And she's been with us for the last 6 years, and we could
Wow.
not do what we do without her, and she's, like, part of our family. I think my kids, they think she's just like another grandparent, and she is amazing because we would not be able to do our jobs. We try to have one parent at home at all times, but
Mm,
September, October, I'm gone every weekend,
yeah.
and especially, if Will's with the Red Sox right now. So he does around 120 games a year for them broadcasting.
Wow.
I pulled him over to the dark side of the TV.
Nice.
He's been playing. It took him a little, but now he loves it. So he travels with the team and he's in Boston the majority of the time and then wherever the team's playing. So we just do what we can to try and make it work and make sure that the kids are seeing him as much as possible. And we try to schedule out his baseball schedule so that he comes home every few series, just so it's not like, okay, daddy's gone. But it's tough. And that crossover, those few months, like, whoo, not enjoyable.
But it's
Wow.
almost like when you can go around your kids' schedule, right? Like when they were babies, we used to, or at least me, I used to like schedule all my meetings around their nap time, right? And now that that's gone, I'm like, okay, well, now they have off that next week. So what assignments can I work on? Where can I be where I don't really need to travel too much? Do you find that that's possible at all for you guys?
Completely. And I don't know if it's the same for you, but when they were little, I don't feel like they really had a concept of time. And maybe that's terrible to say, but
No.
if I had to leave for a football weekend,
Yeah.
they would be like, "Okay, bye, mom," and then I would come back on Sunday, and I leave Thursday, and it is what it is. But now they are fully aware, like, okay, she's going to be gone for all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday.
Right.
She'll be home
Right.
at some point on Sunday. So it's like they get it now, and they're like, they get it, but they're also like, "Why are you leaving again?" So it's hard to manage those emotions. And then as a mom, you just feel that mom guilt and you're like, am I making the right choices here? But then also I'm able to be fully present and I'm home all day Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm with them 24/7 during that time. So it's a lot of give or take. And then for my husband, that's just baseball's a whole other story. So it's just we try to schedule it as best as we can. And I've said no to a lot of opportunities that have just come my way just because it's, the kids and the family takes priority and that will always be my priority. And that's one thing I do love about CBS is they are so family oriented and they understand that, family comes first. So I can't say enough good things about the company I work for. And I've been with them for this is going to be 13 seasons coming up, which is
Wow.
crazy to think
That
about.
flew by.
Right? I'm like, wait, don't I still work for the Red Sox? Like, what happened
That's
with that?
so funny. Yeah, I can't even believe that. So I don't kind of quick sidebar. This is our first time speaking actually, over video or otherwise, but I've obviously known who you were for many, many years and apparently more than 13 years because I was at the Twins. I was a sideline reporter for the Twins,
I remember.
the Red Sox, and I remember I won't name
Uh-oh.
names, but this player was like, I think I wore something that probably wasn't super cute or fashionable. I don't even know. But he was like, Jamie, what happened? He's like, you got to step it up. You're competing with Jenny Dell. And I was like, what?
Stop
And
it.
I'm like Googling Jenny Dell. Like, I was like, also, what a weird
Who
boy.
would say that?
Well, I can tell you in the separate chat, but
Well,
it was
yeah,
so
we'll
weird.
sidebar
I
on
was
that one.
like,
I think that's our
that
mansplain moment of the week today.
that was when I was like, okay, like I
Ew.
like don't comment on what I'm wearing, and
First of all,
B,
yeah.
don't compare me. Like we compare each other enough. We don't need to
Yeah,
compare.
we don't need you doing that either.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I actually had, and I won't name which player either, but I had a player because, I mean, you look at a baseball season and you're working every game. You have spring training, regular season, postseason, if you're lucky.
Yeah,
That's a lot of outfits, right?
a lot
And
of
then-
outfits.
right? There was one time that I repeated an outfit and I was like, no one's going to know. And I walked in and a certain player was like, you've worn that dress before. I was like,
Oh,
excuse
Come
me?
on.
and that's where you say you've worn that uniform before. You've worn
Every
that
freaking
jersey
day
before.
you wear the same thing. So shut it. But I'm like, I have Twitter blowing me up about this. I don't need like the team saying something about it too. These guys, ridiculous.
So-
That's my husband because again, with TV, it's tough. You wear an outfit, you wear it once, and then it goes in the closet. And I need to like, I donate a good amount of my stuff, but
Yeah.
I need to like start, because these are nice items. And,
Yes.
I'm very lucky that I have companies now that will send me things. But I'm not wearing it more than once. And then they're
I
just
know.
sitting here, and Will's like closet's half my stuff now too. And he's like, can you just get rid of this stuff? Like, we live in South Florida. I have probably over 100 coats. I don't need a coat. Does anyone need a coat? I'll send you my coat.
That's so
I'll take
funny.
it. Thank you.
Craziness.
Quick sidebar for me, because Jenny, I loved watching you cover my team in the Tony the Tiger Bowl. I was very excited for that win. Very excited for Duke's football season. But for you, what was the college football season like? Seemed like it was chaos.
I think what's interesting about this season and just college football in general right now is it is just changing so much. And every year you're talking about a brand new team. You look at like Indiana and what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they pull over all their guys from James Madison with Signetti coming over, and you get a couple more guys in the transfer portal. And now you have a national championship team. And it's just, while I enjoy kind of the ebbs and flows, and like each year you're not going to just have like the Bamas being number one and Ohio State being number one, although love those programs. It's tough because you get to know these coaches and these players on a personal level. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, he transferred too? Like, wait, he's gone. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I feel for the coaches right now because they can't coach the way that they would coach. You can't develop players anymore. You can't develop your team in a certain way because if you develop the guys too well, then some other team's trying to poach them and pay too much money to bring them over to their squad. And then if they're not good enough or they're not getting playing time, then they're like, well, I'm not waiting this out. I'm going to go somewhere else and play.
Yeah.
Just the way college football is trending right now, I don't love. And
Yeah.
it's tough. Like, it's a different just world we live in. And I just think that one coach explained it to me like the perfect way. He's like, basically, we squeezed out a ton of toothpaste onto the toothbrush, and now they're trying to put the toothpaste back into the tube. Because it's like we made all these rules, but there's no regulation to the rules. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can transfer, and hey, we're going to be able to pay players, but there's no regulation to any of this right now. So I feel like hopefully things change a little bit, but it's like you get put on a new team every week, and you get to know, there's a couple, like I think I covered Oregon like 5 or 6 times a year, and Indiana a bunch. So you get to know these guys on a personal level, but I'm thinking about next season. I'm like, it's going to be a whole new crop of players and coaches.
Right.
And it's just, I don't love the way that this is going.
Yeah, it's like the pendulum has just swung way too far the other direction because I went to USC during the Pete Carroll, Reggie Bush era. And so, obviously things were happening that weren't supposed to be happening, that weren't by the laws then, but they are now. And so I think, there was a reckoning of like, why are we not paying these players who are putting their bodies on the line, their future careers on the line, and not getting paid, and everyone else is making crap tons of money from it. So I definitely land in the we should be paying players.
Yes,
They should be
100%.
getting
And
compensated.
I agree. We should,
But there's gotta
absolutely
be
should be getting paid.
right.
But there's got to be
Where does
some
it stop? Yeah. Where's the madness stop?
Yeah. And also, and a lot of these universities are now doing this, but we need money managers. We need financial advisors. We need to make sure that these kids who are now getting handed millions and millions of dollars aren't just going out and buying all the bling and the Ferraris. And it's like a lot of these players don't come from this world of money, and they don't have resources to know how to spend this money or invest.
Right.
So
plan,
that's also a whole other conversation.
So-
It does some way or
Hey,
another.
I wanted to kind of bring it back to like mom stuff too, because I love the sports conversation. And when Tory and I, for anyone who's listened to this podcast, like they know that when we started this, we wanted it to be just as much about sports as about mom stuff, because there's a lot of mom podcasts, there's a lot of sports podcasts, but we thought we wanted to really give both They're due. And so that being said, I guess my question to bring it back into mom life is like, do your daughters watch sports? Do they care about mom being on TV, or are they over it? Because my kids, like, only recently, they're 6 and 4, and they only recently give half a crap about me being on TV or watching a hockey game that I'm working or listening to a soccer game that I'm calling. Like, only half. Just
Yeah,
now.
totally know that feeling. I think for a long time, my kids thought everyone's parents were on television. So I thought, like, they just thought that was the norm. So the neighborhood we live in, there's like a lot of influencers and, so they're like, oh, Bobby's mom is on YouTube and does this. So I think they just thought that that was like a normal thing. And I think they're starting to realize that it's just not super normal. But I also love the fact that they don't think it's cool because, yes, we're lucky to have incredible jobs. And I think all of us can say that. But I don't want my kids to ever think that, our jobs are better than anyone else's jobs.
Nice.
They will watch my show open for games, and then they're done. They like watching sports with us, like, we're watching the Olympics right now, they're totally invested in that. If they've become huge Red Sox fans just because of my husband, and they will sit down and watch, like, we'll sit down and listen to Will and watch a Red Sox game. But they like playing sports. I don't think they don't just need to sit there and watch, like, a 4-hour football game. So they'll
Totally.
watch my open, and this is something that I've said to them, and they still believe this, and I hope that they believe this until they realize that it's silly. When I first started doing football and they were able to start talking, they were like, "Mommy, I was waving to you through the
Aw.
TV and you didn't wave back at me." And I'm like, "Okay, think." So I told them that anytime I blink, that's me waving to them.
That's so sweet.
So
So
to this
clever.
day, I come home and my youngest Kenzie will be like, "Mommy, I saw you blinking." And I was like, "I know, honey. Like I knew you were watching." And she's like, "Thank you so much." And I'm like,
That's
I love
so
that.
genius. Good
because
for
I'm like, "Wait,
you.
I can't give you a shout out, but like I'm thinking about you."
Like,
So I was like, "Okay, what do I do every time? You gotta blink at some point, right?" So I'm just like, my blinks are my waves. They're like, "Oh, okay."
Love
that's
that. You
amazing.
guys can
Good for
carry that for
you.
your whole relationship. That's so
I know,
sweet.
I know. I hope that they always like no, that's like our little thing. And my husband will take a video of the girls watching my open, and they'll be like, "Mommy, mommy," and they get all
Yeah.
excited, and then the game kicks off, and they have like a 5-minute span of caring, and then they're like,
That's
"All right,
fair. I get that.
yeah."
For sure.
Or there's
For
times
sure.
where I'm like, "Daddy's on TV," and my oldest is like, "Mom, I'm coloring," and I'm like, "Okay, never mind. Don't
The
worry about that."
influencers live next door. It's no big deal over there.
Yeah, right. So, I don't know. They care, but they also I don't think they think it's, like, that cool, which I'm fine. I'm good with.
Yeah,
That's the
totally.
way I want it to be.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Jenny, as I mentioned, even though we don't know each other personally, like, I think it's true with a lot of women in this business where, you can still look up to people that you don't personally know. And I've always really looked up to you and followed your journey and followed your path. And I remember a while back reading about your fertility journey and how it was really a struggle for a while. So I guess I wanted to say, first of all, I really appreciate your transparency, because I know there's so many people out there who I'm sure looked
Really.
up to you and thought, well, she's pushing through this, so can I. And hopefully one day I'll get the reward that I've always wanted, which is a baby. So if you think back to that crazy time, like, how did you navigate your job responsibilities with IVF and trying? I mean, that's so difficult when that's probably always on your mind.
It was tough. It was tough. I don't think that people can fully understand, like, the journey of infertility unless you go through it, and it's one of those just, like, silent killers in a sense, like, and there's only so much that you can say about it unless you live it. You fully understand how difficult it is. And it's like a full, like, mind body experience. And it's on your mind 24/7. So, my husband and I tried for a couple years unsuccessfully. And then we tried multiple IUIs. And I mean, he was playing baseball at the time too. So, like, I was flying because there were certain times that I like had to be with him. I was flying to wherever he was if I was ovulating at the right time. And it was just like, it sucks all the joy out of your first few years of marriage, sadly. And gosh, I remember just traveling with all of my needles and like shooting myself up during halftime of football games with,
Mm.
progesterone or whatever I was, and having my camera guy, I'm like, hey, can you just like stab me in the the back
Wow.
here? But that was just part of it. And the reason, I was actually talking to someone about this the other day about like why I share that. And the reason I shared it is because so many people go through it and people don't talk about it. And I was lucky enough, I've made some incredible friends on Facebook fertility groups that I'm still very close with today. And it's so important, I feel like, when you're going through that, to have someone to talk to. And I literally was having this conversation the other day. The reason why I shared our whole journey is the amount of women that have reached out to me that said, I don't want to talk to my close friends about this or my family about it. Like,
Mhm.
I need someone that doesn't know anything about me that I can just bitch to, that I can
Mm.
just sit there and cry to. And I've talked to probably over 200 women that I don't even know that are just like, I just need to vent right now. And I'm like, all right, I'm here, just like through
Wow.
DMs, because there's something that's, I don't know why sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger about this stuff. And
Okay.
I don't know if it's like you just don't want to bother your friends constantly about the same thing, or they're like, okay, I get it. Like, you can't get pregnant and it's annoying. It's tough. And I
Mm.
just wanted to be a space where people could just come to and say like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or how did Will handle this, because my husband's really struggling with this. And I've just found that it's easier sometimes to talk to people that aren't so inside your world.
Hmm.
So I wanted to make sure that people understood, hey, I've been there and I'm here if you need to talk to someone. Just send me a DM. I know that might sound crazy, but like, I will be there and support you in any way that I possibly can. And you're in such a dark stage, I feel like, when you're going through that, that you're just like grasping for straws at times, and you're just like, I just need like a little glimpse of hope, or I need to talk to someone that can like just give me a little insight about whatever, medication I'm about to put into my body, or whatever it may be. So it was like a touching, trying time, and there was a lot of tears shed. And I look at my little girls now, and Maddie was my oldest one now, who's 7. She was an IVF baby, and we were told we couldn't get pregnant on our own. And then Maddie was 5 months old, and I naturally got pregnant with Kenzie. So,
Wow.
yeah, so that was like a shock too. And we're like, what the heck? Like, how does this happen? Oh my God. My husband literally looked at me and was like, how? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, but here we are.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but just like, I look at her now and I think about all the pain and the tears and the tough moments and the miscarriages and everything that I went through. And I'm like, we wouldn't have her had it not been through that journey.
Right.
So it's like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we were one of the lucky ones, because I know not everyone ends up with their little bundle of joy. So even when she's being like a complete, I'm like, girl, do you know how much money it paid for you? You know what we did to get you here? Like, stop being this way. But man, yeah, no, that was a really tough time. And again, like, I was working Mountain West football at the time. So I was flying cross country with all my medication. Like, just, it
Wow.
was, yeah, emotional times for sure.
I was just looking at a quote that one of my best friends sent to me that says, be proud of how quietly you've survived things that no one saw. Right. I mean,
Oh,
that's just, I think all of us as women, as mothers can hold on to that quote, right? Because it's our
And
strength.
I didn't really talk to anyone about my IVF journey. And I don't think I really even posted about it until I was a few months into my pregnancy, because
sure.
there's also like, when you deal with loss and stuff, you don't want to come out and say, we're having a baby, and then have to
Yeah.
deal with the aftermath of that
Yeah.
if it doesn't go well. And I didn't want people to look at me and be like, oh, she's throwing out every single step of her journey. And while that can be like super therapeutic for others, for me it was like, I just need to go through this and like have these dark moments. And then once there was light at the end of the tunnel, I was able to share it. But yeah, it's like everyone processes it differently, and I just want to be a soundboard for anyone that's going through it
I think
and
that's
stuff.
really amazing.
My son Braxton was born with a heart defect. We had to have open heart surgery at 2 days old. And I would go to the hospital a lot for check-ins, and he had to get an MRI. I posted this very emotional thing about it. And my husband, he's just like, do you think you're oversharing? And I get that, but I also am like, no, because people have reached out because of a hashtag, right? I'll put hashtag heart baby, whatever. And people are like, thank you. Like, I just want to know what we went through. So I just appreciate that so much. And like Jamie said, it's inspiring because it inspired me to do the same.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Man, we've all had our journeys, right?
Yeah.
And now here we are. Love to death.
All right, let's lighten the load. I got one more for you, and then we'll go to rapid fire because we have to discuss how once upon a time you and I were PAs at ESPN together.
That's so fun. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's where we met.
We had a lot of fun. But I just think about that time, and I just looking at where we've landed, where you landed now. Back then, what goals were you setting for yourself, right? To set on your journey in your career?
Okay. Well, think about it, Tory. Like back when we were PAs, I never wanted to be on camera. This wasn't.
I remember.
Yeah, this wasn't like my goal. I wanted to do marketing and advertising in sports. I was a double major in business. This was not the plan whatsoever. And I think back to just like all the experiences that we had at ESPN and being in the production truck and doing graphics and working on features and, as a PA, just like learning the behind the scenes aspect of like what goes into a production. I was so infatuated with just like learning every little position. And then basically what happened, Jamie, I don't know if you're aware of the story, is I got approached in the cafeteria one day by Matthew Berry. And he was like, we just started chatting. He was like, I think you have a great personality. Have you ever worked on camera? And I was like, no. And he was like, do you know football? I was like, yeah, I know football. And he was like, well, we need more females talking about fantasy football. And I didn't even know. This is like when fantasy football like didn't exist.
Infancy, yeah.
It was like, wow. I was like, what? And in my mind, I think like fantasy. And I'm like, sexual? Like what?
Oh my gosh, what are you saying, sir? Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew Berry. Yeah.
The fact that I'm dating myself, like not knowing what fantasy football was. This was a long time ago, right? And so he was like, yeah, no, it's like you create these fake teams. And he like gave me the lowdown. I was like, yeah, I'll come in. So I wrote up a script and I've never like read off a prompter before, like written a script. And I'm like, all right, let me see what this is all about. And that's how it started. So they ended up using me on ESPN.com. And during my lunch breaks for production, like being a PA, I would go in and like film these little segments for ESPN.com on fantasy football. And then fantasy football kind of grew into now what it is today. And my role at ESPN.com as on-air talent grew as well. And they were like sending me out to go cover Super Bowls and all this stuff. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
21.
awesome.
I'm like, what am I?
Amazing. Yeah.
What is this world I'm living in? And then an agent reached out to me via DM on Facebook and was like, we'd love to represent you. I'm like, sure, great. And they're the ones that threw my name in the hat for the Red Sox job. So it all just kind of snowballed from there. But I think like I look back to those first 4 years as a production assistant and growing in that role. And I don't think I would have had any of the success that I've had on air without that experience, because I feel like it's so important to know what's actually going on in the production truck and just like how to build a story. So like this was not the plan whatsoever. And it's been a roller coaster of a journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs over the last, 20 years now, almost 20 years, just crazy. But I feel like I'm so thankful for the position that I'm in right now. And like when I was with the Red Sox, it was incredible, but it was also, I mean, Jamie, you get it, like working for a team, for a city, especially like Boston, is a lot. And, as a young female, it was trying to manage the outside world at a very young age, and social media was just starting up. So like dealing with that and Barstool and everything that was coming my way. And I was like,
well, and in a market like Boston, like I was a bit lucky in the sense that I'm from Minnesota. I landed in Minneapolis working for the Twins in the Wild. Like people were going to be nice just because I was from there and because it's Minnesota. Nice. Yeah. Like Boston's I didn't have to deal with Boston.
Yeah. I know, Jenny, I do. I do think it makes you so versatile in what you do, right? You can hop into any chair, I think, and just seeing what you do, like, because you get it, because you had those early days on the grind. I just, 100%. I've always thought that.
that, like, I love the fact that now when it's the off season, I'm in studio and I'm anchoring. Like, that's
Yeah.
such a different skill set than sideline. And I
Mhm.
love that. Or I'm hosting We Need to Talk. And that's, again, a different skill set. So it's fun to like have your hands in so many different buckets. But in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about the production aspect of things. Like, if I'm building a story, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, what elements can I put in this, or what graphics can we throw into here to make it just better?
Yeah.
So
That's so
yeah, no,
big. I'm
never
sure
thought that this is
everyone
what
That
it was
makes it great.
gonna
Yeah.
be doing, but I love it. It's been fun.
I'm sure everyone loves working with you too then, because like I think people, especially in the truck, like they're fine. I'm not saying they need recognition, but I will say that whenever they get some recognition, they're like, "Oh yeah, thanks." Like, and and whether it's on air recognition or whether
Yeah.
it's just an on air talent going up to them and being like, "How can I make your life easier?" Or, "Hey, that
100%.
graphic
It is
that
not
you threw
common
up
as
is really
yeah.
awesome." Yeah,
It
like
doesn't happen enough.
But I think it also teaches you, like, I think people look at the talent position and they're like, "Oh, the on-air talent." And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we could not do what we do if it's not for every single person on this broadcast and in the
Totally.
production truck and the truck drivers that are driving our trucks across the country so that
Yes.
we can even get on air. Like, it is such a team sport. And I
Yeah.
don't think everyone recognizes or realizes that. And I'm
Right.
so thankful that I had years of just like being on the other side and understanding, like, the PAs are probably the hardest working people in the entire broadcast. Like, they're
Yeah.
the ones that are grinding it out and at 6 a.m. edits and
Yeah.
putting together graphics that are never going to air. Like,
Yeah.
it is
For like
not
$10 an hour.
You know, yes. We were there. And then we go to Jay Dell's house. Celebrate after.
It was also, Jamie, I bought a house when I was like 21.
Hard hitting New Britain, baby.
Hard hit New Britain, and I like had roommates and they would help pay my mortgage, and then we would just have like parties at our house all the time. It
That's
was awesome.
so awesome.
It was really fun.
Mine was a different story, but it was similar in the sense that, I was 22 and I landed in Madison, Wisconsin. That was my first job. Talk about a great market to start and be 22. Like, I feel like I'm an honorary Badger because some of my best memories were, with the Badgers covering Rose Bowls and Sweet 16s, but also just like living in Madison and basically being a college student myself. But it was the best. Yeah, I had 3 roommates, and one of them is my now husband. And it was a great
Wait, he
time.
was your roommate?
We met in college, but then after college, I got the job in Wisconsin, and he's from Santa Barbara. And he's like, "I'm not moving to Madison." But then he came out to visit, and he's like, "Actually, this is pretty cool." So he ended up getting a job a few months later, and we had all these extra rooms. I was kind of like the property manager for this house.
Yes.
And I was like, "Well, I know somebody that could rent a room." And so, yeah, he lived with
That
me.
is so funny.
And do you want to do rapid fire here, Tor? As long or short as you want to make it, but the idea is rapid fire, so preferably on the shorter side. Here we go. As a fan, Jenny Dell, totally unbiased, what sport or team do you genuinely love watching?
Boston Red Sox.
I love
Unbiased.
it. So true. Yeah.
I can't help it.
No, it's fine. Like, you love it, you
I
love it.
saw my husband there. That was like my big break. Like, it's
Yeah,
Boston.
of course.
Freaking love the
No,
Reds.
you'll always be loyal to. I get that. Totally. Okay. What's your go-to mom hack? Other than the blinking.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Obviously travel a lot for work. So this can work for any moms that are traveling or dads. So I used to, even when I was on the road and on the West Coast even, I would want to talk to my kids before school, right? Because you're like, okay, I'm in a hotel room. I might not have a meeting until 10 a.m., but I want to wake up and talk to the kids to send them off the right way to school. What I started doing 2 years ago, and this has been amazing, the night before, like before I go to sleep, I send my husband or our nanny or whoever's watching the kids a video. So I'll be like, "Good morning. Happy Friday, guys. You're going to have a great day of school. Mommy loves you so much. Maddie, remember, like, you have basketball practice after school," whatever. And I
Yeah.
send them a little video and I send it over and then I sleep in. And I don't feel bad
Yes.
about not waking up and saying good morning to them because now they look forward to video on Friday mornings. They know it's video morning and they're like, "What did mommy say?" And instead of me having to wake up at 5 a.m. or not even like 4 a.m. on the West Coast
Yes.
to say good morning, now they're like super pumped for video mornings on Fridays.
And you don't have to get into the slippery slope of like the tears that sometimes come when you're
Oh, yeah.
actually talking to them.
Don't even
Because
need to
that's
deal
what
with it
I'm
anymore.
struggling with. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I wanna FaceTime, I wanna see them, but
it's
it's
tough for
making
them.
it harder on my husband and
Yep,
the kids because then the tears start coming when they
yep,
remember that I'm not
yep.
there. So I love that. That's a
This
great
is
Take
a
it.
one.
that's a good one. It's a good one.
Amazing.
Just recording. Yes, Video
Record it the night
Fridays.
before. Send it over.
Great. I'm gonna use that. Okay, after a long day of work and kids, what is your favorite way to unwind?
Ugh, reality television.
Which one? Which
Which
one?
one?
Give me Bravo. I mean, like, I'm a
Housewives.
sucker
Yeah.
for, like, Southern Charm, Summer House, like, Real Housewives, any of it. That is my way to disconnect from the world because we work in sports, and then I come home, and then there's sports on, and you have to, like, know what's going on in the sports.
Mhm.
Sometimes I need a moment, like a bubble bath and some Bravo. I am a happy camper. I'm like a new person.
Love that.
Love.
Yeah.
What's one storyline or matchup in any sport right now that you're especially excited about?
Ooh. I mean, right now it's the Olympics for me. Just
Mhm.
like I said, my kids are actually invested in the Olympics this year for the first time. So to be able to sit on the couch and watch figure skating with them or, some of the snowboard event we were watching last night, that
Uh-huh.
it's fun to see it through their eyes and they're just asking so many questions right now. So I would say just I'm like locked in on the
You're
Winter
speaking my
Olympics.
language. Obviously,
I can
anyone who is
tell.
watching clips, I know this is a podcast, but I'm fully decked out in what was a Valentine's Day present from my husband, actually. Very
Aw.
thoughtful. Who needs flowers when you can get a Team USA sweet little
Well done, Matt. Well done.
That is
hat?
when I always tell my husbands, I don't want flowers. My husbands. I said my one husband. I have one. But I
Breaking
tell
news.
him, I don't want flowers. I want a hoodie. So
Yeah.
like your husband listened to
I know. Yeah, he did it totally proactively. But I'm obsessed with the Olympics. And the reason I'm wearing it today, besides the podcast, is because men's hockey happens to start in a couple hours. So, okay. Anyway, we have a couple more. Okay, last
Two more.
couple rapid fire. 2 more. Can you share a recent mom fail moment?
so many. Oh, this one was bad. So my kids go to the same elementary school. So Maddie is in first grade and Kenzie is in kindergarten. And I thought it was probably around Halloween. So it was in the middle of like football season, like in depth. Kenzie's class was doing a like dress up in Halloween costume day. And I thought it was the entire school doing it. So I sent my daughter to school in a costume in first grade. And it was not, in fact, a costume day.
Oh.
So she showed up wearing a full K-pop Demon Hunters costume on like
Yeah.
the rest of the class was just staring at her like, what are you doing?
She probably
so
looked awesome, though. Was she Rumi? Who was she?
she was Mira.
Okay, perfect. I'm sure they loved it.
Her teacher emailed me. I was like, I'm so sorry. I will bring over some clothing right away. My apologies.
Could happen any day. Any kid would want to wear that. So
Mom.
That's all. Okay. Good one. Last one. What's been the biggest challenge? If you had to really pinpoint one, what's been the biggest challenge of being a working mom in sports?
I think the mom guilt of just not being at everything. If it's just like a normal weekend, then that's fine. But I've had to miss dance recitals, school performances. It's just like it kills you as a mom to not be at these events and your daughter's looking out like saying okay, and they understand it, and I'll always try and do something special to make them feel loved or know that I'm there in spirit. I don't think that's ever going to go away. It is
Yeah.
impossible to just not feel that guilt when you're not there for special moments.
yeah, we talk about that weekly, I think. But just know that the time you do spend with them, I think it outweighs, right? Those moments that it may feel like the weight of the world, like, oh, she wasn't there. But then I don't even think they remember half the time. I really
know. It kills you and they're like, oh, not a big deal. Thankfully my parents now live down in Florida. So like
that's awesome.
Grammy gets to go to the event and they're like, it was so cool that Grammy was there. And our teachers that my kids go to school, they are so wonderful. So if I miss something at school, they'll be like, do you want to come in on Tuesday that week? And we'll do like a special performance for you. And I'm like, thank you so much. So it's just trying to make ways to make it work.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Jenny Dell, thank you so much for coming on the pod today. Where can we find the next episode of We Need to Talk?
So we're in a monthly rotation right now. So we'll have another episode coming out in early March, getting ready for the madness of March, which is very exciting. Definitely check out my Instagram because I always update when our next episode's coming out.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you
good.
so
So
much
important.
for coming. So great to see you, babe. Thank you.
All right, babes, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and like us wherever you get your podcasts.